This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ready to roll with you guys and talk geeky things and some rockety things too. I suppose we'll probably get to too. But we have with us back on the show. Wait, I don't even remember who was on the show last week. No, you weren't on the show last week. Back on the show from Studio C in the Big D of Dormont, PA. He is a gadget guru at Big Bank International Esquire. He is John Chichilla.
I think it's been 3 weeks.
Oh, geez, really?
I think. I was off the last week. The week before, I was on 3 weeks ago.
Well, Kraus and Podner have been jumping in left and right on this show, so it's been really great that they've been able to fill in the meantime. But no, glad to have you back and figure out how many new things you've installed in your home. It's in that time.
Oh, that's one of my awesome things of the week.
Well, there you go. See, I didn't even look at the notes. I just knew intuitively you probably did something. You've been gone so long, you haven't met Edward the goat with his bow tie. Oh, no, the bow tie fell off. Oh, no. We'll put the bow tie on later. Okay, we'll just put that there. No, nothing happened. Yes, that's our new co-host on the show. So anyways, also with us is our social media extraordinaire, and I don't know, we need to figure out new titles for you because you're doing a bunch of things. Katie Dudas is with us. The Dutters.
I'm the big D from the little C.
The big D from the little C. Yes. Jeez. Right, exactly. How you doing, Katie?
Good. Well, thank you.
Excellent. But we're going to get into all the geeky things here. In the meantime, please go check out everything at AwesomeCast.com. It's up at AwesomeCast at SorgatronMedia.com. And you can also subscribe to us on all of your podcast players. A lot of you guys do. Thank you so much for supporting us. And also, shout out to our friends over on Post Industrial, helping share the awesomeness. And also, we are live here every Tuesday on the AwesomeCast Facebook, YouTube page, and the Sorgatron Media Twitch. And we also do have spaces open over on Twitter as well. We've modified that a little bit. Not doing a video streaming. People seem to dig these spaces, guys. So we're seeing what we can do with that too. And of course, you can be in there in the chat on any of those platforms to share, to be part of the conversation here during the show, and we appreciate if you do. And also, thank you to our, if I can get it on here, there it is, our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. Our friends supporting the show at the executive producer level, Brian Crawford. At the coffee club level, Matt Weller, John Carmen, Cynthia Klosky, Scott McTaggart, and Mike Pound. And at the fan of the show level, oh no, my page reloaded. Who's typing at the top? At the fan show level, Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Ponder. You guys can support the show too at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Katie, you got a Trapper Keeper? What?
I did. I got a Trapper Keeper.
Are these throwback now? Or have they I've seen something about Trapper Keepers. I don't know, maybe TikTok or something. Is it a throwback thing, or are these still perfectly functional for the current generation?
Well, I think it's more functional. Well, they came back last year. They were a thing last year, but okay. I didn't get one last year. But I got one this year. Mama Dutters bought me a Trapper Keeper, and I'm so excited about it. And it is, as an owner of an OG Trapper Keeper, these are infinitely better than ours.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Well,
they've been upgraded?
Wait. That sound. And so the nothing is really super sharp. You can tell that it's much better quality, like when you open it and such.
Oh, jeez.
You got the a little slot in the front here. You got it still comes with the folders with my little useful information, my name, my subject. I can do some multiplications. Ask me how many pints are in a quart. I can tell you that now. couldn't before, but now I can tell you.
For the youngins, this is what we did before Google and Siri we could ask these questions.
And I think the best part about this upgrade is it's a clipboard on the back. So like you would flip like behind the last page, like the back cover has a clipboard spot on top.
Nice.
And it flips over perfectly. So it could really actually be either you can clip your notes in there or use it as a clipboard, which I was pretty excited about. I was like, ooh, because, I'm a paper nerd. So this was very exciting to me.
So are you going back to school again or what was
Yeah, because you've seen all my stuff. I do not need to be in any sort of school to buy.
No,
any sort of.
No, you don't. We literally were in like this geeky anime store at the Florida Mall, and it was like, look, that's a table of notebooks for you and Katie. I said to Missy. So
exactly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it yet because I feel like.
So
I'm gonna put
this
paper in it.
This is a solution in search of a problem, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yes.
It's interesting though, because we're not, at least in our school district, you're not allowed phones in the school to be powered on anymore. So there is no more Google. There is no more use the calculator on your phone. They have outlawed cellular technology. So
Wait, wow.
Yeah, okay. No smart. Well, I don't know. Maybe if you brought a flip phone.
Okay.
Maybe you'd be allowed to use that.
It is the point. Now, here's the question, because I remember there was always that question, because I had the calculator watch sometimes, and like as long as you don't use it on a test or something, right?
That even the calculator watch, I would imagine, would be okay today. In high school, you still need a graphing calculator. You probably these days you need it in middle school, but they don't want. Like the TikTok challenges, they don't want anyone videotaping things. They don't want any of that.
Have you heard this about the technology to track that the students aren't spending too much time in the bathroom?
I have not heard of that.
This has been a story that's been going around. I've heard about it on a couple of shows, I think, over the last week. I guess, and again, one of the things is to the TikTok challenges is one of the concerned, right? And for those who don't know, the TikTok challenges are like, this is where like the crazy stuff like slap a teacher and like wild stuff like stunts basically, and challenges that are probably going to give you detention and maybe even ejected from school. So like this has become I guess pretty much an issue there. So I don't know. That's a whole other discussion, I know, and I was just wondering if you kind of ran into that yet, Chilla.
Well, I have not. I didn't even look up. I remember there was some TV show I was watching where there was a TikTok challenge that they talked about that was like they wanted you to like jump across all the desks while the teacher had their back turned, and that just sounds dangerous.
That sounds stupid. What the hell? What is happening?
So you've never been in a classroom where everybody, like, as soon as the teacher turned around, everybody's desk got turned around? Like, you've never done one of those things?
When they left,
that would be fun.
I was at one where when they left the room, and it did not end well. Jeez, that was weird. I don't even know why. Yeah, and just to get everybody to do that, too, right? It was like, all right, I don't want to be the weird one not doing it, and I guess we're all in trouble. So it's one of those like you can't fire us all, right? But they can give most of you detention. So, anyways,
overcrowding in the detention room.
That's right, exactly.
All of us.
Yes, exactly. Steve's in the chat room, and he says that I just read earlier today that the inventor of the Trapper Keeper passed away at 84 years old, like yesterday. So, Katie, did you just like unknowingly homage the passing of the Trapper Keeper owner?
Yes, and I'm very sad.
Yes,
the creator of the Trapper Keeper.
Yes.
That's still a great name, though, for something.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't he be the keeper of the Trapper Keeper?
The keeper of the Trapper?
Oh.
Keeper.
Anyways, so sounds like something that was tried back in the 80s. What the desk turnaround situation? I mean, we were well into the 90s when that happened. Yeah, the people were more interesting in my second school those last couple of years. That's for sure. Anyways, Chilla, what's your awesome thing of the week?
My awesome thing is I don't know how you even pronounce it. Broan New Tone. Chroma
like,
Comfort bathroom exhaust fan.
I like the idea of just like bro. Yeah, something like that. Sure. So wait, what is this?
So it is the Chroma Comfort bathroom exhaust fan with Sensonic Bluetooth speaker and LED light.
Wait, what?
In white.
Are you having a rave in your bathroom?
I am now.
Jeez. So wait, so it looks like it's a big light, and you say, and it's a speaker. Like it's in your ceiling. Okay.
And it's a fan.
Okay, so like I replaced my ceiling fan, my bathroom fan, exhaust fan with this thing, right?
But it's also waterproof.
Okay. Well, that's
so you can put it in your shower.
Oh, so it can go above your shower, so that's not a problem either. Okay.
And there's an app for your phone, so you can change the color of the light.
There's a video for this with a solemn rubber ducky and now candles. What is happening right now?
Because you can change the color to be any color you want.
But I have like a small bathroom where I have my.
Our bathroom's tiny, but now it's well lit with a nice big fan and a loud Bluetooth speaker.
Oh. This is where I'll just broadcast the audio from the Tech Talks I watch in the bathroom, right?
Yeah, and I mean that's one nice thing. Yeah, we can play music, play podcasts, play whatever. Mm-hmm. And the other cool thing is the way they did the controller for the fan, so you can control it from your phone.
Wait. I love this. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This scene here, I'm going to describe it for audio. So there's the app coming up, and in a moment you're going to see steam come up, music come out. This animation's hilarious on here. But and she's dancing in the bathroom, as you do. I'm sorry, carry on.
That's okay.
Tell us about your bathroom dance parties.
But the switch for this, obviously you can use it from your phone, and not everyone that comes into your house is going to want to turn on the fan or turn on the light from the phone. It's actually a battery-powered wall panel. I don't know if you saw in the video, they showed it. I don't know if they have it on. I don't see it on the image, the rollover images. But it uses 2 AAA batteries, so you don't necessarily have to wire in the wall panel, which I thought was super nice. It's just you hold down the button, it syncs, and you're good to go.
I like it.
And obviously, like I said, you can turn on your Bluetooth, sync to it, and use the app. But I like not everyone wants to whip out their phone when they want to turn on the light or turn on the fan. So
right.
To me, super nice, super easy to use. Installation was really nice. They give you actually on the cardboard box it comes in, they give you your panel cutout size. I replaced a light that was in the ceiling, so I had to cut it a little bigger. But super nice, super easy to use, like I said. And it does come in it is a little pricey. It's $200. But how often are you replacing the light in your bathroom?
So is this if my if I have a pretty standard exhaust fan situation, like that's going to it's going to fit pretty well there?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, based on what I have in my one wall section, yeah.
Nice. So we'll have a link for that in the document. Sorry, I'm trying to pull something here real quick. Excellent. So that is the Brone new tone and speaker system you can check out there. So I was right. You did install something. I knew it. Enough time had passed. There wouldn't be anything new in your studio.
And if you don't want all the beautiful colors of the LEDs, they do make some lower end, still Bluetooth, still LED light, but not necessarily multicolor changing LED. I think there's some other ones that are around the $100 price range.
This is the maybe I don't want to have a dance party version, right?
Yeah, you can get the non-dance party version.
My awesome thing of the week, I got as usual, I get to go to some pretty cool places for work, basically. So, and this isn't updated on here. I'm very disappointed. I was going to pull up my photos from this adventure. So I got to film. We're doing a shoot down in Lakeland, Florida, where we've done the 2 out of 3 years we're doing aero design down there. So I was with our friends for that. We're doing some videos about like kind of the checklist kind of things, and it's at the Florida Air Museum that we were. When the first year I went, we actually did tech inspection in this museum. And it was cool because like there's planes that are hanging. There's a Red Baron that's in there, and there's a lot of really cool things like that. And this is our first time back there, and they had done a lot of renovations since. And actually, there's a picture. Nope, is it showing the picture? Hey, let's plug it back in so we can show the pictures. So in a second, I'll be able to show you this. But anyways, yeah. Oh, there's one. There you see the pictures there of us. We're taking a little early morning tour before we got into things of this, and it was pretty cool. And it's the Florida Air Museum Skylab Innovation Center. There's also the Sun and Fun Expo facility. Actually, right across from this is a pilot school. There's pilot high school programs around this, and this is a smaller kind of regional airport. There's a lot of connections with there's a lot of Amazon delivery, Amazon warehouses and other warehouses, things going on. So there's a lot of connection there. It's not like a big airport. So we got to shoot a couple of shots there, and I got to check out some of the new tech that they had involved here. And let me see if I can pull together a picture of some of it. So they had this Skylab Center for Excellence. They have is a big educational center. One room was just flight simulators, just decked out PCs with a flight simulator, like pedals and gears and sticks and everything. They had another room that was just 3D printers, and they were like 3D printing like planes and shuttles and things like that. The room that we got to work in, and actually here's a little shot of the space that we were working in for our videos in a second there. This is actually what they determined to be the drone room. And you remember the little Trello drone that I have that I've been kind of playing with to try to learn drones, and it's kind of a cheaper one. I'm not worried about crashing. They have a stack of these because unfortunately when they have the students in, they're literally right beside the airport. Like you walk out and there's the runway, and they're like, well, we get these ones because they're really made for indoors because we can't fly anything outside because of the limitations, of being by the airfield. And as much as you can try, if you give, a 13-year-old a drone and tell them don't fly it over there or up 100 feet, you know how that's going to go, right? So
I was surprised. So I got my roof replaced about a year ago, and one of the things that I liked about the company was they gave you pictures for insurance purposes every 45 minutes or hour throughout the installation process.
Really?
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I was excited about was they're like, yeah, we do drone photography for them too. So you get like an aerial shot of your roof. And then if anything happens, you can say, like someone says, well, the underlay was put in improperly or the nails weren't put in properly. You're like, no, look, I have time-lapse photos throughout the process to prove.
Nice.
But they went and put the drone up. And I mean, my house is not, I have a normal 2-story house. It's not whatever. It's not. I don't live in Stark Tower.
A typical 2-story lot house in the Pittsburgh area, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the drone errored out halfway up the house and said this is it's a no-fly zone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Which
weird.
I mean, they must have had I don't know what kind of drone they had to it's that cool that it can tell all that information, but. So I was surprised. I guess my house, higher end drones are not allowed to fly by above a 15 feet.
Well, it's also, and you're I think you're a little more up on a hill than even I am. Your elevation's a little higher, so there might be some limitations around that. If you have the higher end drones, they should have a GPS elevation sensor in there that is registered with FAA standards to actually block you from violating anything. And I imagine they have it for this purpose. It's going to be a higher end one like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So versus like those little tele drones are just like, yeah, like wherever your Wi-Fi from your phone can reach, and that's it. So
Yeah,
so it's like I'm already limited. You know, I know I'm not going any further here. It's not going to sail off in the distance at this point, right? So, which is actually one of the things, because there's a lot of discussion about automation and maybe applying it to this aero design competition. You know, and you know, and I learned a lot about planes and RC planes and drones over this weekend, just being around Glenn and Tom and Josh down there. I know, Katie, you're familiar with those guys. And just like you know, if you're doing an automation, you got to make sure like it's not going to just fly off. You got to make sure it has an automatic, like I'm not connected to anything, and just kind of the gradual land, kind of the I've fallen asleep in my Tesla and it'll gradually pull off and slow down, right? Like, I think that is a feature that we've talked about. If not that, another automated car that we probably talked about before, you know, that kind of idea is like the kind of like you know, a takeover, there's no human, oh no, what do I do, process of something like that. Dave actually asked in the chat room, and I will confirm, yes, that is a wind tunnel behind them. You see a little, let's see, I'm going to zoom in here. Yeah, it was in it's like an airflow wind tunnel, like for testing aerodynamics, showing aerodynamics. You see there's a little wing in there, so you can kind of see what that, they probably use that to demonstrate. And other than that, that's just stacks of RC planes we're using for samples. I also want to point out here, I think I had a pretty good, you can see that there, but I had a pretty good shot here. I think this is from the GoPro. They made this really cool cutout for this, and these are videos that we're going to be putting together, and it'll be up for the students here in the next several weeks. But they wanted to demonstrate, the whole idea was just like better know the things that are going to hold you up at tech inspection, and actually be able to visually say, here, you need to cut this, you need to have this kind of space, this needs to work like this kind of thing. So they had actually built this like really cool cutaway, kind of looks like the middle of the plane, you know, the fuselage area, the battery area, things like that, so they can demonstrate, like in you know, for instance here, if you're seeing our video, there's a battery and you see these little like screws sticking out, and they're trying to demonstrate you cannot have that sticking out, because if something happens, this thing like butts up, crashes or something, that battery is now going into a screw, and you can have a pretty catastrophic failure that's going to involve fire extinguishers probably. You know, things like that would be flagged if they were going through technical inspection, because technical inspection, I think above anything else, is a safety inspection for when they fly these things to make sure there's not going to be any issues with the plane, or there's at least minimize the issues with the plane when they go up. That was really cool. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to show, this is the fourth room, I'm sorry. I think it's right here. This was cool. And I was told there's like 120 some of these, in the country, and one was nearby at SeaWorld, I guess, in Orlando. This is a sphere, and I don't know if I got video. Oh, hey, here's a cool, NVIDIA, ARM board. That's basically, it's a Jetson Nano developer kit. It's something that they'll use for like some of the targeting that they'll do in the advanced class. And it's basically like it's just a really badass Raspberry Pi, apparently, from what I was explained. But anyways, back to this. So this sphere, it's like a weather sphere, and they have what they're showing here. They can throw a lot of kind of different videos and overlays to it. But what they're specifically showing here is like weather cover and cloud cover that they can switch it to and everything. So that was really cool. This is actually, so it's a big ball hanging in the middle of the room, and there are 4 projectors, one in each corner, and that's how they do this kind of spheric effect. And apparently theirs is one of the few ones that they can actually lift, and then they actually do have, because I know you're curious about this, they do have a disco ball mode on this. I got to see them demonstrate. So, and there's a big projector in the background and everything. They were showing on that day, I think this was Friday, the SpaceX launch was being delayed at that point. So, and yes, the Artemis launch was delayed, and we were there, disappointed as we gathered and got up at 1 a.m. to drive over and everything. But and I know Ginny, Jane Pitt on Twitter, she was there doing the press social stuff, and it was really cool to see her perspective of everything going on. This is the wild thing, and I don't know, it's just because there were so many people there this time, because I've been there for a SpaceX. This was at the space like space watch park or something like that, and I was at the same one a year and a half ago for SpaceX, and there was definitely more people. There were a lot of video. Everybody had a live view. When we talked about that before, that's what has the cell signals, and you should be able to get out. There were so many people jam packed in the area, and Ginny had the same thing too. All cell service went down. So all of those people with these super expensive probably at least 5-digit video packs that run off a cell signal were dead in the water. Absolutely dead in the water, because every service provider, every cell tower was even over on the island across the Cape from us, where the press was. Just down from the rocket themselves. They literally just all the service went out about an hour before launch. So it was hard for us to get updates. We had a guy that Missy was talking to. His wife was at home watching NASA TV and giving us updates on what was happening, because if you haven't heard, Artemis had a crack in I think it was one of the fuel tanks, if I'm not mistaken. And thank you, partner, for giving me the link that they did do an update at 6 p.m. An hour before the show. They did a conference call on exactly what was going on, what they're planning to do at least. So there was a big crack that they discovered about probably like 3 hours before launch time, and then they had a 2-hour window. They're trying to see if they could solve it in time for the launch. And correct it. But then there was a big lightning hit, like just down from the shuttle launch, and I think altogether, I forget if that was a part of it or just altogether they scrapped it at basically probably about 5 minutes after the launch window was supposed to start at 8:33 a.m. on Monday. So it's unfortunate we went all the way out there and we missed it, but we got to see the rocket. We got to see some NASA-ness. We got to talk to a lot of space enthusiasts, we'll say, around us. And it was really cool to be around that atmosphere, just packed with a bunch of people to just hear this, to see this rocket go off, right? They are supposed to be trying it again this Saturday. I think it's at 2:17 p.m. off the top of my head. So hopefully they'll have some. Maybe they'll truck in some cell repeaters. I don't know. Maybe. I remember it being a little rough last time, but I remember it being so. Because there's a space museum people that are there, and they would get on the speaker and tell us what was going on, and they would have the radio going, which I think they were taking off YouTube, and they just weren't even able to do that. 2 hours out, they weren't able to give us that, and we were hearing that, and especially when they were discovering some of the issues with the tank and everything like that, as they were doing the fueling and everything. So it was still a cool experience, regardless, to be there around all that kind of stuff and kind of see the area and everything. But maybe next time. It was not bad. I did 2 for 3 for watching rocket launches, though. So I'll take that. But unfortunately, Missy didn't get to see it in action. So maybe next time. There's always March. Katie, we'll see what's going on in March, what they're launching. All right.
Ooh, we'll just show up. There'll be nothing happening. We'll just tailgate.
It'll be a lot easier to go to the Space Museum then, right? So yeah. There is a visitor center at Kennedy. So, but yeah, we drove down to Cocoa Beach and everything, and just see the ocean real quick before we drove back closer to get our flight back. So NASA said the 2-hour-long launch window opens at 2:17 on Saturday, meaning it could be a liftoff anytime between. And that was a question too, was the weather issues and even before the issues that they found. This is also, keep in mind, this is the first time that this vehicle has launched. So they were discussing about some of the fueling processes may have to be altered because they were taking long, and even before they found the issues, it seemed like the timetable kept moving, and hence the window. But I know we had thunderstorms all weekend long, we were literally watching them over the ocean. Was that one coming this way? It's just a very Florida thing that happens. So it is. They had to dance around that weather window. And I remember the last SpaceX one, it was we have a 20-minute window where the clouds are clear. Let's go, and that's it. So it's pretty wild to think about, what all goes into those kind of calculations and everything like that. So, and since I just watched the third season, everything's like, oh yeah, just like For All Mankind, how they did that, kind of thing. So, but anyways, but no, that was a really cool experience, and definitely go check out Jenny's Twitter from the last several days about all the experiences that she had over there and how much money she spent on NASA merchandise. So. Anyways, hey, right down on Earth here, we want to give a shout out to our friends up the street at Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yins are made, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, and the North Hills. Give a shout out to our good friends over there for helping feeding our guests. We got some coming in for Mayhem Show tonight. So nice to know they're not going to go away hungry as they're taking their evenings to spend with us. And we do appreciate that. And they've been with us for a good, a long time. Thank you to them. Check them out, sliceonbroadway.com. Okay, guys, what stories do you want to hit up for the back of the show here? Anything sticking out to you? Anything you guys put in here while I wasn't looking? Katie, how about you?
I did. I was going to say, I
Yes.
threw, where'd it go? I put in there that the Royal Caribbean will be equipping all of its cruise ships with the Starlink Maritime service.
Nice.
Maritime. I like Maritime better than Maritime.
I wonder what they've been using in the meantime. I haven't been on a cruise. Chachi was just on one, and I know some other people that do them. But I don't know. Was it probably satellite up until now, right? So
I would guess. I'm not sure.
And I was reading an article. I'll have to try to see if I can find it. I'm guessing they need this not just for the guests, because I read an article and I don't know if it was Royal Caribbean or which cruise line it was, but they talked about how they were using a combination of AWS, Azure, and I think GCP, Google, to carry on anything from point of sale type devices on the cruise to online ordering, like everything, cruise ship like systems, everything. There's not much that runs standalone, right? And they're not going to install a server room on the cruise ship. So they were talking about how they're not only multi-cloud, but they needed heavy bandwidth connectivity. And if you're out on the open seas, it gets rather difficult. I know airlines for a while were storing the credit card information and had enough to know that the credit card was valid, and not expired. But think about it. If you went on a flight and you said, hey, here's my card, but there was no money in the account, then what? So,
and even if they didn't have the Wi-Fi connection, I don't know how many times I've been on a Southwest flight and they were just like, no internet this time. Sorry, guys. So there's nothing they could have depended on, even if they did provide the service. This TechCrunch article Katie put in here references about current satellite options aren't great. Yep, familiar with that. And I love it's just like, hey, the premium Wi-Fi costs will probably pay for itself like in the first month of these things. It's like that makes a lot of sense.
I do like how they talk about how much it costs.
Yeah. You want to read that there? You got that in front of you?
So it's like roughly $5,000 a month, and has at least a $10,000 upfront hardware fee for special terminals. So,
and I'm sure the special treatment to this being a moving situation versus something you would set up in your house, or in our case, a field at Aero Design when people would show up. I've been at like 2 or 3 events where I've seen a Starlink set up. By the way. Like I think you might have seen one at Formula, but you're with me of all those. They had one randomly set up at Formula too, didn't they? That was
we saw Aero and Formula.
Yeah, that was interesting. And we tapped into it and used it for a stream. It wasn't the only thing we streamed out on. I'm not ready for that, I don't feel confident enough on that yet. So with them, so not enough testing, but it was good to have like another connection to split everything with, at least, right? And at least a connection that was not like the shared cell service in the middle of a field somewhere. I think we do get lucky. Most places, Katie, you're going to be. Well, I'm really curious to see how you do in Florida because we're on like the fringe of the town, and I did not have more than 2 bars like the entire time I was down there. Around the space where we're working, and it was even worse in the building. So we have not done a live stream from there, and I think the T-Mobile was also relatively questionable. So I'm curious to see what your Verizon is doing.
I love that we compete where you go places.
Well, you see,
like,
the more
what do you got? What do we got?
more and more of this is happening because I keep running into I feel like I keep running into this with AT&T as I'm going more and more places. And or as I told you a few weeks ago, the nervous IT guy that kind of laughed at me when I said I had AT&T, and they're like, "Oh, we got Verizon towers like right on top of the building." I'm like, "Well, that's not helpful to me right now, sir. Fix your internet so I can do this." But I've actually been like, it's so much, and then I'll look over to you and be like, "Well, you got all your bars," and I'm actually been highly. Changing over if I wasn't so damn embedded with about 10 devices we determined that we are providing internet for pretty much a small community at this point with all the family plan that we have. But also one thing I also realized is we walked by a T-Mobile representative at the mall the other day when it said, "Do you have T-Mobile?" And I'm like, actually, yes, I have all of them. So I do. I technically have a plan with AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, thanks to some of the video services that we're signed up for. But anyways, so cell providers, stay the F away from me. I got enough. You're getting enough of my money. Holy crap! But anyways, how did we get to that? SpaceX is what's going to happen. That's what's going to make this that's going to make I still have dreams. It's not there yet. I know that, but I still have dreams that's going to let me move my studio to like the middle of a mountain or something, just out in the middle of nowhere, and everybody comes to me, kind of situation. But we're not there yet. Anyways, what else, Chilla? What else you got here you want to talk about?
So let's go with the stream emulate. So I was reading today Ars Technica, and there was a leak that was quickly taken that had a takedown notice, but a bunch of media outlets picked it up. It looks like, and to me, this looks like a super nice device. A combination device from Tencent and Logitech are making a stream-focused, but also potentially emulation-focused device. It would be Android-based from what we're seeing, which is nice because it's good. That puts it at a much lower price point than what we've seen from who is the Stream Deck. So there is no price out yet, but it does look like there's the typical joystick type thumbsticks with a directional pad, X, Y, A, B, home button. The top has your typical bumpers and triggers with a volume up, volume down, on, off, and an SD card slot. So
ideally, this is going to be focused on things like NVIDIA's GeForce Now streaming, Xbox Game Pass. There is a button on here for Steam, but I imagine that's going to mean like you have a computer in your home you're streaming from with Steam Link kind of situation. And there is literally in the picture is a Google Play Store, so there's that too.
Yep.
I feel like this is going to be, you say about the potential emulation focus. But I feel like you're not downloading a AAA game onto this thing to play. You're going to play the AAA game on Game Pass, right? You're going to play Guardians of the Galaxy on Game Pass. You're going to play Fortnite on NVIDIA GeForce Now, right?
It's just going to be streamed down to the device.
Yes. So it's which will be nice because it should be optimized for the streaming experience. And sometimes wireless devices are not, because you need a very specialized low latency 5G connection. That is not going to leave you hanging, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm interested too. Will it come like with a cell radio, and can I jump on my AT&T connection?
Curious.
Can I jump on?
I'd be curious to do that because 5G is very good. I honestly, I still say this. I got a Eero set up in my house to try to get the connection better. It helps in a lot of cases, but still setting up in my bedroom and I got full Eero connection. It's a smoother experience on Game Pass when I just shut that off and I have 3 bars of 5G. So I mean, it's wild that the cellular technology is better for this than other things. So, but yeah, really, a cell technology is pretty amazing, and you just never notice it until it doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, like, why does this hotel have no service? But I walk outside and I'm fine. It's just been the most maddening thing that I've experienced over the last while.
But have you found a hotel with actually really good Wi-Fi? I am yet to be impressed with,
like, consistently, like as a chain, like I mean, I do IHG Holiday Inn most of the time, or Hilton's, and I've seen them like, hey, I got 60 down at this one, and then the next, you know, say the next Hilton is, or the next Holiday Inn is like, yeah, you kind of got 2, you know. Yeah, it's really, it's not, it's where you're at. This is a Spectrum neighborhood where we were at, and I kept, which is so, again, was continued to be so maddening, because I was keep seeing Spectrum Wi-Fi's, like we see Xfinity in this area, and you know, there's like the sign-in thing, and like, sign up for a free trial, and you get a half an hour trial to Spectrum internet, presumably cable, I'd imagine, and it was god awful. It was bad. It was like, what are we doing here, guys? Yeah, no, I think I was just in a generally terrible place for internets, because you know, you're at an airport, like, why would you? You're at a regional people learning to fly airport with people with ultralights and prop planes. You know, that's the purpose of the area. You know, they're not gonna. There's not a lot of infrastructure there, so I guess. So, you know, you think Amazon would have it situated. I'm sure they got a good pipe going in there, right? So, anyways, there were satellite trucks set up there. So you knew they were good. Oh, there was a satellite truck. I was trying to explain this to Missy. There was a satellite truck that had the big satellite that was definitely for broadcasting, and then right down there was a little dinky DirecTV one too. And just on the same roof, right? And I was like, I imagine it's for feedback, right? To loop, like, see that what's coming back and through, or keep an eye on the, you know, whatever station you were working with or something. Anyways, what else we got here? Hey, while you're mentioning that, there was a really good article on PC Gamer about, hey, you know what the Steam Deck, the Steam Deck from Valve is really good at? 3DS and Wii U games, apparently. Because you got a touch screen, and then you can send through the HDMI, so that, you know, where the 3DS, you had the screen and then the little touch screen, or if you're on the Wii U, you had the big screen stuff going on, and you had the touch screen that you could interact with, right? So you can HDMI out to the big screen and have a touchscreen to emulate that other part of it. It's freaking genius, and I guess it works really, really well on this hardware. So that's something you can completely do. I think they're completely... What is that? What is that? Am I looking at Animal Crossing, maybe? I don't know. I'm looking. This isn't loading too well. But yeah, so that's a pretty cool possibility you can get into there. If you did happen to pick up a Steam Deck, I know my brother's been playing with it. Lucky guy. I wish I didn't cancel my pre thing now. But anyways, what else we have? Hey, you guys want to talk iOS devices? There's an event next Wednesday, which means when most of you listen to this podcast on the podcast feed, we will not speculate the entire episode, since it'll just be not even matter by 1 p.m. the next day. That's what we'll attempt to do, right?
We'll just be like, no, we could just make crazy predictions and then be like, we were totally wrong.
Yeah. See,
yeah, we can pretend like we're going along with it.
Yes, we could be like, we got a scoop. Be like,
the
it's
results,
got X-ray technology.
Well,
and
our results from the future are in from the Apple event tomorrow, and everybody enjoy your new Apple Car Play, or yeah, your Apple hover car is coming soon, and is on pre-order. And good luck. It runs in M3 Pros. Amanda actually had a pretty cool. This is kind of an awesome tip of the week, actually, at least for upcoming for anybody when they're upgrading to the next iOS or Watch OS, I guess which should be a mere weeks away at this point, right? I mean, heck, we might get it like next week after the event, because sometimes that would drop like within like a few days, if not a week out. But she was talking about she was listening to an accessibility iOS podcast this week and found something new. If you need to show off your watch, your Apple Watch in iOS 16, you can screencast your watch to your phone, and then you can cast it to any device through AirPlay, or even just what we do here with, I just have an HDMI adapter, and that's how we bring things into the switcher, and then there you go. So Chilla, we should be able to show off Apple Watch stuff pretty easily here very soon.
I'm very interested. So where do you get to that in the phone? I don't have my watch. My watch.
Say you have all these. You have these. You live in the future. Tell us how it is.
I'm gonna have to play. I saw this in the show notes, and I didn't have time to run up and grab my device. I'm interested. Like, where is that?
Oh, I don't know. Amanda knows all.
Amanda knows all. The other thing is I don't have the beta on the watch. I only have the beta on the phone.
Yes. Have you had issues with the okay? Here's because I know, Katie, you've been having an interesting experiment. I don't know if you're ready to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
You want to bring this up?
Yeah. So Chilla, here, let's discuss this. I'm training for a very long hike, and so part of my workouts include very long workouts, like long hikes and such. And so when I'm running these, I'm using my workout feature on my watch. I'm starting that for the hike. I'm using All Trails, which is an app that's also you track with either within like the actual map of the park that I'm at, or just kind of do free whatever, and it'll just track where I go. And then even pulled out Strava, which uses the information from health to track my stuff. And I'm getting wildly different links of like how far, like distance wise, how far I've walked. Or hiked, and the amount of elevation change has also been wildly different, and it is frustrating me. Chilla, fix it.
Does the watch know elevation though?
Hold on, Chilla. Let me show some examples here real quick before we get into this. First of all, here's mine. This is a walk I went to. This was a almost 3-mile walk I went to on Thursday, and again, All Trails is shown at 2.88 miles. Outdoor walk 2.83, and then I'll pull up Katie's here. I should have yours in messages. Were you sending me that? Does that seem accurate?
Yes.
Okay, give me like 2 seconds. So you're doing, and there's the one I sent you. So so how many miles are you looking at? You're like 6, 7, 10, something like that. And
well, yeah, because the last one was 18 on my Apple. My workouts at 18. All Trails said 21, I think, and then Strava was at 31.
So here is Here's one you sent me. It says 16.94 miles, and that is the Apple hiking thing, and saying 99%. And then it's saying 18.1 miles on All Trails. So and
but what is Strava showing for the map?
Well, Strava is just using the health information from my phone. So it's just kind of like
it's
extrapolating.
Yeah, it's like a best guesstimate, or
because
do you remember where I can't remember who it was. Was it Pokemon Go was doing something weird with their kilometer tracking, and if you the polling interval was so long that if you were a fast runner and you ran 100 yards like down a field and 100 yards back, it would say you never moved. Because it only polls every so often
to see where.
Or if you went across the street this way and then cut back this way, it calculated the distance between the 2 points, not where you actually went.
And I think it is a different metrics, right? Because the watch itself has a step counter, which and nothing. And I think this should be in everything is we're doing calorie counting and things like that. And we're like, listen, this is a guide. It's okay if it's not perfect, right? None of this is going to be. It's supposed to have an idea of trends, right? So like your watch is a step counter. As accurate as that is, can be debatable. And then All Trails. Katie, did we determine All Trails is not using your watch? All Trails is right.
Your watch is also using GPS.
Your watch is, yes.
Yeah.
But I feel
if you have, is your watch the cellular watch?
Yes. So I'm using GPS. Yeah, because you originally said that it was just a step counter on your watch.
Yeah.
But so I'm using GPS on my watch.
Right. So it is doing that along with that because you do get like a map when you pull that up an Apple Watch. So I think it's kind of reconciling the two perhaps, or it's just using the step counter and the GPS is just to mark out like where you were when it happens.
Or what is Strava or how Strava? I'd be interested to know how Strava's.
I don't think All Trails uses the step counter at all. I think it's specifically just using a GPS on your phone, right? There's ties into it. Like you can go in and start the counter and everything in your watch, but I don't think that means that it's going to be taking the step counter into account, right? Because I've definitely gone through there and kind of look at the path it shows me on the maps, and not that All Trails is always accurate. We know that right by now using it, but yeah, I think it is interesting because it's definitely different metrics, it's definitely different technologies. Then Strava's doing whatever the hell Strava's doing.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yes.
I always like using the ones that show me the map because, like I was saying, if there's some weird polling interval and like you went around half of a track and then the line shows you running across. That's what I saw with the old Nike. Remember the Nike device that would go in your shoe and then it connected to the iPod?
Yeah.
Touch.
Was that the iPod Touch? This is before we had our Nike Plus fitness watch and everything, right?
Yeah, it was a Nike Plus fitness thing that went in your shoe. And I would constantly get, like, if you tried to actually track it, it would actually show you, like, you'd skip across the track.
Right. Like I nothing that I've seen, and these aren't loading too great. I'm trying to pull up some of my All Trails. Let me see if I can find like I'm trying to figure out what like the longest kind of thing I did was, this one. No, that's pretty good. Yeah, no. Like this. I don't know. Go ahead.
I think this is something else we could just talking like with Aaron and I. We're talking about it. With some of these elevation changes that I'm doing on some of these hikes, it's a very it's a very steep thing. So we're wondering if it's not really registering it's like, wait, you just only like, it's like going like, oh, you only like went one step when as opposed to like
you really went 20 feet because it was vertical, but it detects as 10 feet because we're looking at GPS.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, wait, so you didn't do anything? It's like, what? No.
And that's why yours are. And but see, I'm also noticing like you looked at mine. I was looking at like 2.3 versus 2.8 or something like that, right? Like you start like as you get a bigger number, the difference is going to, expand. So I'm getting that threshold where I'm starting to notice it. And then, like, when you get to 16 miles, it's going to be like, that's 2 miles off, So,
Chilla, I did draw. I was bored at the park, and, like, you could see the outline. So then I was by myself. It was late at night, so I was drawing little shapes. I did a little swirly thing over here and, like, was trying to write out words as I was walking.
That's like when we started to make like snowman faces in my front yard, right, in the snow, like by walking them out. But damn it, now you got that in my head.
But look how good that's a swirl in the middle of a soccer field. Like that's like my pride and joy right there.
Oh, Katie, send me. Wait, those are in your All Trails?
These were my Apple.
Oh, please send me a couple of those. That is a possible. That's a possible cover. I don't know, that or you and your Trapper Keeper. It was a pretty good shot.
I kept the drawings clean just for the.
Oh,
I was like, I really thought about doing a giant penis in the middle of the soccer.
And then posted the All Trails to be like, well, Look at that. What is that? Are you trying to? Is that a turkey in the middle?
Well,
or
so the zigzags was me going from the infield to the field, the fence on the baseball field, and then back to the infield, and I was just like trying to draw as straight a lines as I zigzagged.
See, I felt weird just doing random patterns like circles and deciding, I'll take a half circle now across this football practice field that I was in Springdale when my whatever trail was really stupid and didn't work out for me. So I just did random patterns. I need to go back and look at that, how that turned out. But, apparently I wasn't even halfway to your level on this one. Well, I'm interested to see. It's pumpkin time for Chile here, but I'm interested to see what other people are doing on their apps too. Let us know if you're using All Trails or anything else as a step counter, as a mileage counter, or anything like that. Kind of what you're dealing with there. Podner says check the maps in Strava, and you can correct it if they're off. So there's one thing with that. What is Strava versus the other ones? What's the difference there, real quick, before we head out?
Strava uses the health information. It's similar to Map My Run. Okay. Well, I haven't used Map My Run, so I'm on GPS now, but I think it's similar to those same lines. It's just a third-party app that uses the information from your phone.
Okay, just something else that kind of collects that in for other connections. That's good. Well, very interesting. I love that this problem solving that we've developed in this thing. So, John Chichilla, thank you so much. Good to have you back, sir.
Thank you, sir. And I'll be hopefully back next week, too.
Excellent. And Katie, thank you so much for hanging out with us once again.
Hey, no problem. It was fun. It was Miss Chilla. It's been a bit. He abandoned us.
Too long.
The Chill and the Duds back together again. So, and me, I'm always here. At Sorgatron on the Twitter, you can see my adventures from this past weekend since we started heading out for Florida. And it looks like the traveling has begun again. I will apparently be heading up Chicago for something on Thursday night, as well as apparently the return to the Midwest with Detroit and Chicago the next weekend, after we do our West Coast adventures. So it's going to get interesting. So thank you so much for joining us here. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.